Jonesy and Amanda.
Jam Nation.
Well, it's arguably the biggest plague for commuters on Sydney roads every day, the dreaded toll. Sydney is the most tolled city in the world. And it seems like every day they keep rising and rising. Today, Labor announces a potential new relief for drivers. Joining us to tell us about this and about all things opposition-ish, the leader of the opposition-ish, Chris MINNS. Hello.
Hello, Minzy.
Jonesy, Amanda, good to speak to you.
Hello.
Too.
Well, let's start with the announcement you're making today about tolls. Over to you.
Yeah, so we're putting a weekly toll cap of $60 so that you don't pay more than that. It gives you certainty, particularly if you live on the Central Coast or in Sydney's western suburbs. And for those who are travelling from Penrith, for example, that take the M4 and the Cross City Tunnel, a one-way trip would be $15.90. The weekly cost to be $159, so you'll save $99 a week. It's particularly targeted at those that have to use their car to get to and from work, and more often than not don't have access to good public transport.
And something we don't appreciate, because I'm lucky I get to travel down King George's Road, and I miss all the tolls, but I was just reading on the weekend, like Camden to the city a week is $222 in tolls. And when I was reading that, I thought, oh, that must be a month. And then... Or at first I thought it was a year. Then it's like $222 a week to travel in your car into the city, and to get from Camden to the city if you work there, the public transport's it's useless.
Yeah, that's right. It's 17 of the suburbs in Sydney with the worst access to public transport are in Western Sydney. And guess where all the toll roads start and finish? In Western Sydney. So we can't have a situation where the only access that you've got to get to and from work is toll roads, but there's no relief in place. And Jonesy and Amanda, you'd know at the moment there's a weekly cap on Opal fares on the public transport network. So if you use public transport every day, which is a good thing, you don't pay more than a set amount, $50 a week. We're trying to get the lowest figure possible to set the same principle in place. You shouldn't be disadvantaged because no government's bothered building public transport for your suburb.
Well, you have said before that the tolls are out of control, and the messes Dominic Perrottet is making. They've signed secret contracts and privatised toll roads. We're going to have more and more privatised roads. How can we keep a lid then on these tolls? Like, the government can't bail out everybody, can they?
No, that's true. But, I mean, one of the things that the government continues to say, particularly around toll roads, is that the only way that you can build infrastructure for Sydney is if it's built and then it's privatised. But what they don't say next is that, for example, on the M5, that will be paid off 8 times over. So every time it gets paid off again and again and again. And the M4, it's 6 times over. The other roads, it's a similar multiple. And all of that money goes to a private toll road company. So the entire WestConnect system was built for $21 billion. It was sold off for $20 billion. But the new private company collects over $100 billion in revenue. So I don't think the math adds up. And I think motorists and taxpayers in particular get snowed as a result of this kind of philosophy.
So how would you actually pay for it then? So I can't imagine all the toll companies saying, oh, okay, we'll waive this and let you off. So where does this money come from?
Yeah, well, we have to make sure that we're intervening, and that means making sure that there's relief schemes in place. I mean, I can only do what I'm left with. The contracts have been signed, and we need to make sure there's fairness over time. So I think that this immediate relief is needed, particularly for those that can only get to work on toll roads. We've also appointed Professor Alan Fells, who used to run the ACCC, to look at long-term solutions when it comes to unpicking or untangling toll roads, which have, I think, kind of strangled Sydney and made it very difficult and very expensive to get around.
Because we've been led to believe that governments can't build infrastructure. As you said, it's got to be a private company that builds it. But, you know, they built the Harbour Bridge in the Depression, and we managed to do that. I don't understand. Have we been poisoned in our minds about how we build infrastructure?
I think that more often than not, the government just continues to say to taxpayers in Sydney, well, the only way to do this is to build it and then sell it off. But as I was saying earlier, I think many people are led to believe this user pays network means that you're just paying off the cost of building the tunnel or the road. And my view is most people would go, well, that's fair enough. I mean, user pays system, it's paid off over time. That's how we built, for example, the Harbour Bridge. But that's not the case. And if you look at the economics underneath the hood here, the M5 is a great example. It gets paid off 8 times over of the lifetime of that contract. So that's not being, you're not being charged to build off the infrastructure. All that money is being collected by a private company. And as you said, Amanda, we're the most tolled city on the earth, on the face of the earth.
I guess we just hope, though, if we need new roads, that we can still attract the companies to make them if we're going to take this loophole away.
I think that there's a good case now, particularly for competition in toll roads in Sydney. You can't have a situation where one company owns basically 10 of the 12 toll roads, because we can't have a situation where that kind of market dominance is in place. I think it leads to unequal outcomes for a lot of motorists.
I'll tell you what, free up the other supporting roads too, because, people... If they can take the toll road without it being such an expensive thing to do, it makes all the other auxiliary roads flow a bit more easily in the mornings and peak out too.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, $4 billion roughly to build the M8, and surface traffic along King George's Road, Stony Creek Road and Canterbury Road rapidly increased after it was built. It should have had the reverse effect. If you build this kind of infrastructure, you expect surface traffic to drop, and the reason it massively increased is because the cost is just too high.
It's too high. Well, Chris, it's always great to talk to you. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Jamesy. Thanks, Amanda. All the best, guys.
Thank you.
Opposition Leader Chris MINNS.